We're back this week for, I think this is the third time in our Air Comfort Solutions kitchen. What can I say? We love food on News on 6 at 9 a.m. It is a pleasure to welcome to the program Liz Bell, who's a nurse and director of the Ascension St. John Cardiovascular Service Line. She brought some snack ideas as well because, Liz, you know, a recent poll showed Americans started snacking almost 50% more during the pandemic. So let's talk about snacking. What do you think about it and how can it help us and how could it hurt us?
So snacking can really help us if we choose the right snacks. Typically we think of snacking and these offerings that I brought today as alternatives to what most Americans think of as snacks, which is inside the lines of the grocery store. We like to tell people to shop around the outside of the grocery store, and that's where they'll find the healthiest snacks. So fruits and vegetables are considered kind of free in the snack world, and so that's what I wanted to bring and highlight today, that those are things that we would want to snack on that are healthful options.
With the service line that you're the director of the Cardiovascular Service Line, obviously heart disease consistently ranked as the #1 killer throughout the U.S. What kind of questions are you fielding from folks typically? What kind of questions do people have about, you know, making healthy changes in their lives?
So when we see patients often in our clinics, we focus on the idea of prevention. You know, prevention is, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so one of the things we focus on is what can you make, what little changes can you make in your day-to-day life that'll help influence your cardiovascular health. And one of them, you know, food is medicine. And so one of them is just providing the healthiest snacks and food possible for yourself and for your family, especially if you're on the go. And I'm a working mom on the go, and that's why I brought some of these options today so that we could talk about what are some really pragmatic, good ideas to bring when you're on the go and working. Now that folks have returned to work, returned to school, returned to that busy, we've talked a lot about football this morning, returned to taking kids to football practice. What can you pack in your car that's easy to pack so that you're making the right choices? So
for your child who plays football and is at school all day, or your daughter who does karate, who's at school all day, how do you do that with the food situation, with the snack situation?
So what I do is I pack early in the morning. I brought my lunch sack, which is filled to the brim. So I also brought a food container because I use multiple reusable containers just because it's less expensive than having to buy plastic. And so what I do in the morning is I'll pack I try to mix a vegetable and a protein and have multiple options. As I said, fruit is, you know, you want to get 3 to 5 fruits and vegetables a day, and that's hard if our kids are at school. And so what I brought is hummus and some vegetables, and you can pack the hummus. It's easy, it doesn't require refrigeration. It can stay, it's a vegetable with some oil in it. Some almonds, which a serving size is just a handful of almonds. There's more for display there, but that's a serving size. That's considered an ounce. Yeah. And then I brought a cheese stick because you would want to have both a protein and that would help enhance your energy for the day if you have, and that's why I brought also some almond butter. So you want to look for options that have low sugar and low salt.
So let's talk about that because, and you can see from the screen, the crudités, really what we're talking about is just like an assortment of veggies. Almond butter, and I see this a lot, my wife buys it. Why do we like almond butter versus peanut butter? What do we need to be looking for on the labels?
So we're looking for items that don't have sugar. So one of the things that traditional peanut butter has is a lot of sugar. It's the second ingredient behind peanuts.
And you're going to be able to see that at the grocery store. When you look at peanut butter jar, you're going to be able to clearly see sugar.
Second item is sugar. So for us, what we're looking for is items like other nut butters. There's cashew butter, there's almond butter, and they don't have sugar in them, and that's the goal, is that any sugar that we would have, it would come from a natural source like a fruit, which kids obviously benefit from having that crunch of an apple, but having the protein with it makes it a really nice snack for the car when you're headed to sports.
Protein, energy, that's what we're focusing on for our snacks. I can't do a heart healthy segment without talking about exercise because, of course, it may be intimidating to some folks who haven't exercised in a while or think it's a huge commitment. What is your advice, things that you tell folks on how to get out today and start with a baby step?
So my first baby step is a comfortable pair of shoes, whatever that means for you, and any kind of shoes. And then doing things like parking a little further in the parking lot. from the store or from the school and walking for 5 to 10 minutes. If you do that 3 times a day, you've met your exercise requirement. A brisk walk 10 times a day, or 3 times a day, excuse me, for 10 minutes will get you the kind of exercise that you need. So if you're starting from scratch or you're, somebody who's at home, see if you can make friends with a neighbor and see if you can walk around the block. Simple changes like that will really influence your life. The other thing I tell working parents is, while your kid's at sports practice, make a friend and walk with a friend while your kids are exercising.
I like that. 10 minutes, 3 times a day. Don't even think of it as a half an hour, just 10 minutes, 3 times a day. Liz Bell, great advice with Ascension St. John. We appreciate it.
Thank you.